Hi everyone, my name is Kathleen and today I will be speaking about the costs, prevalence, attitudes and beliefs that impact on family violence. As our team's focus is on the engagement of men and boys, I will be discussing these points from a gendered perspective. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. Domestic and family violence has a major impact on the people of New South Wales. It poses an immediate threat to the safety of the members of our community, puts a major strain on our relationships, and creates patterns of generational trauma and disadvantage. The economic cost of domestic and family violence each year in New South Wales is estimated to be around $5.6 billion. In 2020, there were 99 victims of homicide-related offences in New South Wales. Of these, 38% were due to family and domestic violence. In the last 5 years, male perpetrators accounted for the murder of 84% of female victims, 61% of male victims, and 74% of the total victims in New South Wales. In the last 12 months, there was a total of 34,287 victims of domestic violence in New South Wales. Of these, 69.4% were female and 11.4% were children or young people. Australian women are more likely than men to experience physical and/or sexual violence at the hands of a partner. According to the National Personal Safety Survey, 15.9% of women reported experiencing partner violence compared to 5.9% of men. According to the National Personal Safety Survey, around 1 in 2 women had experienced sexual harassment by a male perpetrator. Attitudes and beliefs about violence against women are shaped by the given society's gender and sexuality norms. These social norms enable gender inequalities in both public and private life. Systematic practices contribute toward gender inequality by maximising male access to social and political power at the expense of female contributions to decision-making. To illustrate, I have included a short video on the next slide created by Vic Health on attitudes to gender inequality and violence against women.
Right, I'm off. You're the man of the house now. Keep an eye on your sisters. I reckon Rob needs the job more than Vicky does. He's got 3 mouths to feed.
Why should she get paid to go and pop another kid out when I'm here doing all the work?
Just buy her another couple of drinks and she's all yours, mate.
Well, why doesn't she just leave if he's really a wife beater? Where were you this afternoon? I called you 3 times.
Authorised by Vic Health, 15 to 31 Pelham Street, Carlton, Victoria.
Power dynamics are expressed between genders in the relationships we hold with family members, friends, and intimate partners, as well as within institutions such as workplaces, schools, the media, and government. The displays of power dynamics in institutions both produces and maintains gender inequality. For example, the number of women in Parliament in comparison to the number of men is an example of the production of gender inequality in government in Australia. However, having the majority of society's decision making being made by men when the results affect both genders is an example of the reproduction and maintenance of gender inequality. Therefore, gendered violence is partially explained by structural inequality, which supports and maintains power differences between men and women. The attitudes and beliefs regarding masculinity influence gender scripts. Gender scripts refer to the typical types of behaviours associated with a given gender in which the individual is expected to enact. According to critical masculinity theory, masculinity is a socially constructed phenomenon involving a complex set of social practices which are based on the given culture's beliefs and attitudes toward gender roles. As stated by Murray, 1998, this social construction of masculinity involves a complex set of strategies and negotiations, inclusions and exclusions, which enable and legitimate gendered power relations. According to the renowned gender theorist Raewyn Connell, the most legitimate and dominant form of manhood in which men aspire to is called hegemonic masculinity. Hegemonic masculinity is comprised of a set of values which include physical strength and aggression, heterosexuality, dominance, female objectification, and economic power. The key point of importance here is that this type of masculinity is not dominant by force. Rather, it has become accepted as the norm by both genders. Therefore, demonstrating dominance over a woman, both physically and figuratively, is recognized as a shared social ideal. As physical strength is one of the key attributes commonly associated with hegemonic masculinity, this is often demonstrated in violent competition between men in the form of fights and also in professional sport. The media perpetuates violence and aggression as prized traits of the ideal type of masculinity in Australia. Additionally, it sends messages to women that assertiveness and physical strength are both considered to be masculine attributes. Instead, the ideal form of feminism is portrayed as being comprised of physical weakness, a slim figure, and a reliance on men for protection. According to Flood 2018, men's attitudes towards violence against women is strongly related to their attitudes toward gender equality more broadly. These findings are consistent globally. The strongest predictor of supportive attitudes toward violence against women were rigid or traditional beliefs about gender roles. Studies have found that men who hold more egalitarian views on gender roles are less likely to be accepting of violence against women. Additionally, such men are more likely to recognize a wider range of acts as being violent, to reject victim blaming, and to hold the perpetrator accountable. According to Flood 2018, the majority of Australian men do not support violence against women. However, a significant minority still do. Overall, men's attitudes toward violence against women are becoming less supportive, although some beliefs have worsened over time rather than improved. For example, beliefs about women making false accusations of violence and that domestic violence is gender symmetrical have in fact increased among the male population in Australia. Thank you for listening to my presentation. To introduce the next area of discussion is my teammate Lauren, We will be discussing the responses to family violence through the engagement of men and boys.